Hello everybody, welcome back. Welcome to ESE Engineering Academy and ESE online platform. So here we are discussing the preparation strategy of the power systems. Myself Prasad Meghavarna. So we are discussing about the preparation strategy of power systems. So actually students, power systems is one of the major important subject of the electrical engineering department. So in that only from power system we are expecting a minimum of 12 marks and a maximum of 16 marks. So we are expecting in gate, we are expecting a minimum of 12 marks to a maximum of 16 marks we are expecting. 16 marks. And whereas in engineering services we are expecting at least 12 to 15 questions, right? In engineering services, ESE, we are expecting 12 to 15 questions. Only in power systems. Now, coming to the syllabus of power system here. So this is the syllabus of power system. The generation of electrical energy, transmission and distribution of electrical energy, power system analysis, switchgear and protection, along with economic load dispatch and load frequency control. Right. For GATE students, generation of electrical energy is not that much important concept. So we are not having the questions from the last 20 years, particularly from generating power plants. But we are having economics of generation. So the factors that are affecting the generation, we are having load factor, diversity factor, all those factors we are having, and calculation of those factors also we are having. And along with that, we are having economic load dispatch and load frequency control. Here, for GATE students, I am writing here. So whenever you are a GATE aspirant, you have to concentrate more on transmission and distribution of electrical energy, power system analysis, that is faults and stability, and switchgear and protection, economic load dispatch, and the load frequency control. So these are the three areas you have to concentrate majorly if you are a GATE aspirant. Suppose if you are ESE aspirant, you have to concentrate more on everything. So we cannot say this is important for you, this is important for you. Every question is important for engineering services students. Clear everybody? Right. Now coming to the details of this one, whenever we are saying the power system analysis as the first part, so and transmission and distribution as the second part, and switchgear and protection as the third part, right? So here we are discussing this one as PS1, system 1, and we are discussing this one as PS2, and this one as PS3, based on the weightage. Highest weightage part is the faults and stability, that is power system analysis, and next one is transmission and distribution, and next one is the power system protection along with economic load dispatch and the load frequency control. These are the so highly weighted areas. Now coming to the power system analysis here. So this is the weightage of power system analysis in case of GATE and engineering services and the ESE mains, a conventional examination. So only in power system analysis are the faults and stability along with the load so that is what we are having load flow studies, right? So in that we are having from GATE we are having 7 to 8 marks, and from ESE 4 to 5 questions, and in case of ESE mains we are getting 50 to 60 marks, right? So this is the weightage only from faults and stability, that is power system analysis. Power system analysis means we are going to cover the fault analysis, load flow analysis, and power system stability analysis completely, right? Now coming to the weightage year-wise, 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So we see, so every year we are having 2 marks questions. In 2021 we got 4 2 marks questions. So here, so at least we are getting 6 marks here, here 7 marks, here 10 marks, like that we are going to get. So in complete power system, the power system analysis is the major important part. So you have to start your subject preparation with power system analysis, right? Now, and this is the weightage year-wise in case of the engineering services, prelims and mains. So we are getting, so at least a minimum of 3 to 4 marks and maximum of 6 marks we got in 2018. And coming to ESE mains, we are getting minimum of 40 marks and maximum of 60 we got in 2018. So this is the weightage of power system analysis, right? Now coming to what is the syllabus of power system analysis, we have to see. In chapter 1, we are studying the representation of power system network in per unit form, right? So actually before this one, we are studying entire power system in absolute form, voltage in volts, current in amperes, power. So the three types of powers: active power, reactive power, apparent power, and three types of ohmic values: resistance, reactance, and impedances. Like that we are having. And to avoid the difficulties in the absolute system, we are going for the per unit system representation, and that is the very basic part of entire power system, right? So this per unit system is basics for entire power system. For entire power system. So whatever will be the topic of power system, it may be transmission and distribution, it may be power system protection, economic load dispatch, or it may be any part of power system. So the per unit system is the basics. We have to learn the per unit system first of all. Clear, right? What is per unit system? In that one, how to calculate the per unit values when actual values are given. Conversely, when per unit values are given, how to calculate the actual values, and how to construct entire system on common base. These are the important parts. And this per unit system has its major applications in the fault analysis, right? That is chapter 6, right? So after this representation of power system, we can go for matrix representation of power system. In matrix representation, we are going to study the bus admittance matrix, Y bus, and the bus impedance matrix, Z bus. These are the power system matrices we are having. By using this chapter, we are going to study the load flow analysis, so that the matrix representation, particularly bus admittance matrix, is very, very important in case of the load flow analysis. Right, students? And in case of load flow analysis, the most important chapter of entire power system. So here we are studying the classification of buses as PV bus, PQ bus, and slack buses. And later on, we are going for the iterative methods to solve the non-linear algebraic equations in the power system network, like the Gauss-Seidel method, the Newton-Raphson load flow method, decoupled method, and fast decoupled load flow methods. All the load flow methods we are going to study in the load flow analysis. Load flow analysis, right? Now, coming to the weightage, we cannot directly expect a question from chapter 1. But if it is coming from chapter 1, from the basics, in GATE 2015, we got a question directly from per unit system, right? So that's a luck. So we cannot expect a question from very basics. But without that chapter, we cannot understand the remaining chapters. Clear, right? So that the remaining chapter calculations will become difficult whenever you are not studying chapter 1. So as you are not getting the question, if you are leaving that chapter, it's a blunder, I can say. Clear, right? You have to study per unit system, and then you have to go for the remaining calculations. Right. Now, coming to the matrix representation of power system, we are getting at least one 1-mark question or one 2-mark question every year in the Y bus. So that you have to prepare all the models of Y bus, how many problems we are going to solve in Y bus. So make it. Right? So practice almost all the previous year questions, and if you are finding any extra questions also, so try to practice them also. Right? So we can say, I can give the 3-star marking for the Y bus. Y bus. Right? Every year, for the last 10 years, every year we are having a question in the bus admittance matrix. Right? And coming to the load flow analysis, we can give the 3-star rating for this one also. So here also, every year we are having the question in the load flow analysis. It may be from the basics of that load flow analysis. It may be from the classification of buses. In the 2023, we got a question for 2 marks in the classification of buses. Or it may be Gauss method, or it may be Gauss-Seidel load flow method, or it may be Newton-Raphson load flow method. For GATE students, so we are having only Gauss-Seidel load flow method and the Newton-Raphson load flow method. But whereas for ESE students, you are also having decoupled and fast decoupled load flow methods also you have to concentrate. And the comparison between them, based on that one, we are having lot of points we have to learn. right students? So you need to give same importance for the load flow analysis as you are studying the bus admittance matrix also, right? And coming to here, in case of chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, we are studying about only the balanced system analysis or system under steady state condition, system under steady state condition. And coming to the chapter 4, chapter 5, chapter 6, chapter 7, we are studying unbalanced system analysis or the system analysis under disturbance condition, right? That's why to understand that basics part, what is that unbalanced system analysis, we are going for basics of unbalanced system. In the basics of unbalanced system, we are studying the symmetrical component theory. Symmetrical component theory. Right. So by using the symmetrical component theory, the analysis of this unbalanced system will become very easy. Right? So there is no statement like that. Without symmetrical components, we cannot analyze the unbalanced system. That's not the correct statement. We can analyze the unbalanced system without symmetrical component also, but whenever we are using the symmetrical components, the analysis of the system will become very easy. Similarly, per unit system also, without per unit system, we can go for analysis, but analysis will be difficult without per unit system, right? To reduce the difficulties, so in absolute system, we are going into the per unit system, and to reduce the difficulties in the unbalanced system, we are going for the symmetrical component theory. And in the symmetrical component theory, we are studying positive sequence components, negative sequence components, and the zero sequence components. So which is the basic part of the unbalanced system, right? And in this chapter, you cannot expect a direct question. If you are getting a direct question from that chapter, that's a luck. But we cannot expect a direct question. In GATE 2016, we got a direct question from the unbalanced system, that is the symmetrical components, right? And before that, in 2003 and 2004 also, we are having direct questions in the chapter 4. But nowadays, their main concentration is on the complex parts. It may be fault analysis, load flow analysis, power system stability analysis, the bus admittance matrices, right? So the chapter 4, we are studying the basics of unbalanced system. In chapter 5, the symmetrical component, symmetrical network representation. So whatever the elements we are having, generator, transformer, transmission line, and the loads, for all the elements, we are going to draw the networks. So it may be positive sequence network, it may be negative sequence network, and the zero sequence network we are going to construct. So we are drawing the networks to analyze the unbalanced system, right? To analyze the system under faulted condition, so first of all, we need to draw the networks, and based on the networks, we need to get some certain relations, and based on the relations, we need to interconnect the networks. So whenever you are interconnecting the networks, the combined interconnected network is the sequence network for the fault. So we are having one sequence network for LG fault, LL fault, triple L fault. Like that, for every fault, we are having its own sequence network. And that sequence network we have to obtain from chapter 5. Right? So that we have to understand how to draw the symmetrical networks. And this chapter is also basics for unbalanced system analysis. So chapter 4 and chapter 5. So these two are the basics for chapter 6. Without chapter 4 and chapter 5, we cannot understand anything of fault analysis. So whenever you are understanding these two chapters clearly, then fault analysis will become very easy for you. Clear, right? Now, coming to the fault analysis, again, the most important chapter. Right? So in fault analysis, every year we are having the question. It may be one mark question, or it may be 1 2 mark question we are having in the fault analysis, students. So in fault analysis, what are the various types of faults? So it may be open circuit faults, or it may be short circuit faults. So coming to the short circuit faults, what are the types of short circuit faults? Maybe symmetrical short circuit faults, unsymmetrical short circuit faults. In symmetrical short circuit fault, so triple L fault and triple LG fault. In unsymmetrical faults, LG fault, LL fault, and LLG fault. and based on that one, the fault current equations, right? Sequence network constructions, right? We are having lot of questions from fault analysis, right? And based on this one, we are going to calculate the circuit breaker rating also, and there are some questions related to the short circuit capacity of the system also. So these are the questions that have to concentrate more, right? So fault analysis is one of the most important part. Every year we are having the question in that one. We cannot expect a direct question from chapter 4 and chapter 5, and we can expect a direct question from fault analysis every year. And coming to the most important chapter again, the power system stability analysis. Power system stability analysis. Here also every year we are having at least one mark question or one 2 mark question, right? In case of power system stability analysis, so what are the types of stability studies we are having? Angular stability study, or it may be the voltage stability study. So like that we are having. So from that one, we are categorizing the stability studies into two parts. One is small disturbance analysis and the other one is large disturbance analysis. Coming to the small disturbance analysis, we are treating that one as the steady state stability analysis. And coming to the large disturbance analysis, we are treating that as transient stability analysis. Coming to the transient stability analysis, so while understanding the transient stability analysis, we have to derive the swing equation. By using the swing equation, we need to analyze the complete transient stability analysis, and in that we are studying the equal area criteria phenomena, the most important part of the entire power system stability analysis. The equal area criteria we have to study, and the case studies based on the equal area criteria we have to study. Clear, right? So we can expect a direct question from chapter 7, chapter 6, chapter 3 and chapter 2, in that the bus admittance matrix for GATE students. For ESE students, everything is important. I cannot say you are going to get question from this one, from this one, from this one. Any area you can expect a question. All are very, very important for you, for ESE students. So whatever the star marking I have given, that is only for the GATE students, not for the ESE students. Right? For ESE student, I cannot give any star marking. Everything is important. Total power system subject is important for you. Right, students? Now, so first of all, your preparation should be starting from power system analysis. So first of all, complete this part, right? So in the total syllabus of the transmission and distribution, power system analysis and the switchgear and protection, so try to complete this part. So however you are listening the classes, irrespective of that one, you have to prepare, you have to start your preparation from this part. That is the best thing I can say. Clear, right? And coming to the next part, the transmission and distribution. In case of the transmission and distribution, so we are expecting at least 3 marks or 4 marks, 3 to 4 marks. Sometimes in the recent years, it has been increased to 6 to 7 marks. 6 to 7 marks recently. It has been increased to 6 to 7 marks. Right? So from 2020, so 2020, 21, 22, 23, we are getting a minimum of 5 to 6 marks or 6 to 7 marks in the transmission and distribution. So they are changing their way of asking the questions. So once upon a time, they are asking more number of questions only in the power system analysis. Now they are giving equal importance for transmission and distribution also. So coming to the transmission and distribution, so in ESE, we are getting 4 to 5 questions, and in conventional, we are getting 30 to 40 marks. And so weightage year-wise, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So we are getting 1 mark question like that, 1 2 mark question. And 2022, we got 2 1 mark questions and 2 2 marks questions. 2023, we got 2 2 marks question and 1 mark question. That is the weightage in GATE in the transmission and distribution. And coming to ESE year-wise, so 18, so we are getting minimum of 4 and maximum of 6 questions. And ESE conventional weightage is constant, they are getting, so nearly 40. So this is the weightage of the transmission and distribution in ESE. Now, coming to the syllabus of transmission and distribution, see, so very lengthy syllabus, actually transmission and distribution we are having. So from the basics of power system, right? First of all, we have to see basics of power transmission. try to understand each and every component of power system here, right? So in the basics of power transmission, we have to study basics of single phase power transmission and basics of three phase power transmission. How we are transmitting the power in single phase system and how we are transmitting the power in the three phase system. And along with that one, we are studying what are the different types of voltage levels we are having in India, like 11 kilovolts, 33 kilovolts, or 66 kilovolts, like that, whatever the voltage levels we are having in India. And finally, we will see the classification of conductors also, right? Like solid conductors, or the all aluminum conductors, or ACSR conductors, bundle conductors, right? So like that, hollow conductors, like that we are having the various types of conductors we are going to discuss in chapter 1, which is very basic part. We cannot expect a direct question from this one. If you are getting a question from that basics part, we are going to get that one from the three-phase basics. Three-phase basics, right? So in three-phase basics, we are getting at least one mark question or 1 2 mark question every year, right? And that three-phase basics will be covered in many subjects. So we are going to study that three-phase basics in network theory also, right? So whatever it may be, so concentrate on the three-phase basics, star connections, delta connections, and the problems related to the three-phase connections. Clear, students? So here we can expect one mark question or 1 2 mark question in the three-phase basics. And coming to the elements of transmission line, very important, right? So you can say very important. So the elements of transmission line are RLC, are resistance, inductance, and capacitance. So in that we are getting a question from inductance or capacitance. So any one part we are going to get from the question. So it may be inductance calculation. In the inductance calculation, so inductance in single phase system, inductance in three phase system, and GMR and GMD calculation, most important part in the inductance calculations, and the bundled conductor configuration, right? In the bundled conductor configuration, so we are having certain problems. Those problems are also very important. In capacitance calculation also, similarly, whatever you have studied about L, similar concepts we are going to cover in the capacitance also. Those problems are very important. And the steady state analysis, the biggest chapter of entire power system. So where we are studying the classification of transmission lines, short lines, medium lines, long lines, their ABCD parameters, their voltage regulation calculations, their efficiency calculations, and analysis of long transmission lines, in that lossless long transmission lines, surge impedance loading, all those are the concepts which are very important in the steady state analysis, right? So we can expect a direct question, one mark question or 1 2 mark question in chapter 3. In 2023 and 2022 and 2021, we got a question from these chapters, right? And coming to chapter 4, the transient analysis and wave traveling. So for GATE students, right? So we are not having questions from 2015 from this chapter, wave traveling and the traveling wave phenomena, so that we can write. So I can write a statement not important for GATE, but for ESE student, it is important. You have to study that one, you have to cover that one. And if you are writing any local state government examinations like GENCOs, TRANSCOs, or any DISCOMs or any public service commissions, so you have to study this wave traveling chapter, right? And so the GATE students, no need to take the concepts of this one, but whatever it may be, it is better to study that one. Why? Because we are going to write ESE examination as well as the local state government examinations also, right? So that so please keep an eye on that chapter also, right? And coming to chapter 5, the voltage control and power factor correction, it is also 3-star rating chapter, right? So here also we are having a direct question. So every year we are expecting a question from the voltage control. So in that, shunt capacitor connection, series capacitor connection, shunt inductor connection, or synchronous motor connections are the most important parts. We can expect a question on any one, right? Sometimes they may ask question in shunt capacitor. Majorly they are asking questions on shunt capacitor, series capacitor sometimes, shunt inductor sometimes, and the synchronous motor, that is synchronous condenser or synchronous phase modifier. Based on that one, we are having certain questions. And the remaining chapters, underground cables, overhead lines, corona, we are not having that many questions in these chapters, right? So we are not getting the questions in these chapters frequently, right? So no frequent questions. In GATE, and we are having continuous questions every year in the engineering services. And distribution system also somewhat more important for GATE students, right? So this is the syllabus of the transmission distribution, and after completing your power system analysis, you need to concentrate on these chapters, right? What are those? So inductance calculations, capacitance calculations, and if you have already studied three-phase basics in network theory, okay. So otherwise try to learn the concepts here. And the steady state performance analysis and power factor correction and the voltage control and the distribution systems are the major areas you have to cover. So practice as many problems as you can from these chapters, So first of all, practice the previous year GATE questions and ESE questions, and then take the remaining questions. Now coming to the next part, the next portion, that is the power system protection along with economic load dispatch and load frequency control. So here, in case of GATE, so in the recent years, we are getting the questions from power system protection as well as economic load dispatch and load frequency control. So we are expecting 3 to 4 marks, and in ESE 4 to 5 questions, and conventional 20 to 30 marks, right, from the total part, And coming to the weightage, so in GATE recently we are getting 4 to 5 marks. In 2020 we got 7 marks, 2021, 2022. So along with, I am saying, economic load dispatch and load frequency control, it is not only the weightage of the power system protection, right? So completely power system protection, economic load dispatch and load frequency control, right? So we are getting the questions like this, right? And coming to ESE, so this is the weightage in the conventional examinations as well as the prelims examinations. And if you see the syllabus of the power system switchgear and protection, and along with economic load dispatch and load frequency control here. Chapter 1, the basics of power system protection. Why we need power systems protection, and what are the elements of the substation, right? And along with that, so the overcurrent relays and the plug setting multipliers we are going to study in chapter 1. So which are very, very important for entire syllabus, right? So up to chapter 5. Chapter 1 is the basics part. Whenever you are understanding chapter 1, then remaining chapters will become somewhat easy. Chapter 1 is having a link with all the remaining chapters. Next one, chapter 2, the directional relays and directional overcurrent relays we are going to study there. So what are the locations of directional overcurrent relays is the most important question they are asking. In GATE 2023 also we got one question based on the location of directional overcurrent relays and the applications of that directional overcurrent relays. And coming to the distance relays, so impedance relays, reactance relays and more relays and their applications, operating zones, right? And the different names of those relays and comparison between the relays is very, very important. And along with that, we have to study what is underreach problem, what is overreach problem, 3 zonal protection schemes, complete protection of 3-phase system, everything we have to see in the chapter 3. And next one is the differential relays. So for GATE students, so the directional relays are very, very important, and distance protection, right? And differential relays is somewhat more important for you. In that differential protection, we are having the protection of transformer and protection of alternator. Those concepts are very, very important. That is merge price protection of transformers and merge price protection of alternators is the most important area for GATE students, right? And coming to the circuit breakers, so circuit breakers is also one of the most important area for GATE students. We can expect a direct question so from the circuit breakers or from the differential protection, right? And in circuit breakers, so what are the ratings of the circuit breakers? So what is arc quenching, right? So what are the insulations used in the circuit breakers, and what are the methods of arc quenching, right? And what are the various terminologies of that circuit breakers, recovery voltage, restriking voltage, active recovery voltage, all those concepts are very, very important there, right? And coming to the protective switches, that is important for ESE students. Here we are going to study about the fuse wire. So what is fuse? So what is the rating of that fuse? All those questions are important for ESE students, right? And whatever the star rating I am giving, that is important for the GATE students. And economic load dispatch, every year we are having question from 2020, GATE 2020, we are having every year. So at least one mark or 1 2 mark question we are getting from economic load dispatch. So in the economic load dispatch, we are studying about the economics of power generation, and economic load dispatch concepts. So in the economic load dispatch, with considering the losses and neglecting the losses, and we are studying about that penalty factor calculations also. The problems related to them are very important in the economic load dispatch concept. And coming to the load frequency control, the modeling of that load frequency control system, that is speed governing system model, turbine modeling, generator load modeling, right? And the steady state analysis of that system, dynamic modeling of that system, all those things. Along with that, what is that PI controller or PID controller of that entire system we have to see. That is it is also somewhat important only, but we are not expecting a direct question every year in the load frequency control also. Right? So these are the most important areas. So where you have to concentrate more in the differential protection and circuit breakers, and economic load dispatch GATE students. ESE students, everything is important, right? So these are the syllabus and the preparation strategy for that all the chapters. Just here, so in case of power system analysis, you are concentrating on so 1, 2, 3, 4 areas majorly, right? But remaining concepts you have to understand. Without understanding that, we are unable to do the problems directly. We cannot directly go for chapter 2. We cannot directly go for chapter 3 like that. So you have to understand, and your practice should be more on these concepts. Clear, right? And similarly, in case of the transmission and distribution, so you are concentrating on inductance capacitance calculations and steady state performance of transmission lines and power factor correction and problems related to the distribution systems, right? And coming to the power system protection, economic load dispatch is the major important area. Circuit breakers, the terms related to the circuit breakers and differential protection schemes, and you have to concentrate. That is, you need to know what are the basics of directional relays and directional overcurrent relays, along with the distance protection schemes. Clear, right? So this is the syllabus and the weightage along with the important topics, right? Now coming to which textbooks we can prefer. So first of all, listen the class clearly, note down, write a very good notes, attend the classes at regular times, right? So make a very good notes. First of all, prepare that one, right? If you want some extra content beyond the class, you can take any one textbook of these, right? This is power system analysis by William Stevenson, right? And this is power system analysis and design by Duncan Glover, right? And this is power system analysis by Wheelie Publications, and the modern power system analysis by D.P. Kothari and I.J. Nagrath. Right? So these are the some of the important textbooks. Right? We are having lot of textbooks available for power systems. So one textbook available from Havari, one more textbook available from the Devi Priya Das. Right? So like that, we are having some of the best textbooks from power systems. But We are unable to cover all the textbooks, right? Take any one textbook as the reference and keep it with you, right? If you are having any doubts and if you want some content beyond the classroom or beyond the syllabus, you can take any one of this one, right? So you are listening the class, maintaining very good notes, and taking some reference textbook also. Everything will be okay. You have taken some important concepts and everything is okay. What we need to practice? What we have to practice? Here, to get the maximum marks, so what we need to practice? First of all, so we need to practice previous UPSC prelims questions. First, basically, we need to practice. Those are ESE questions as well as the Indian administrative questions. We are having an electrical engineering paper in civil services. So try to practice those questions also. They are very, very good questions. Practice them. And along with that, previous PSC questions, public sector units. So BARC, it may be ISRO or it may be DRDO. So we are having several examinations other than GATE. They are conducting the examinations, right? So try to download those questions and keep it with you. And along with that, first of all, we have to practice previous 1 mark and 2 mark GATE questions, both 1 mark and 2 mark GATE questions, right? So first of all, we start with previous GATE questions. If you are GATE student, right? So after that, you can go for previous UPSC questions. This is the first one you have to do, and this should be the second one. And third one, previous PSC questions. And after completing that, so try to take the previous state board questions like GENCO, TRANSCO, or DISCOMs, or any public service commissions of your state and neighboring states, or any states which are available in the online, right? So try to practice those questions. And previous SSC JEE and RRB JEE questions are also, some questions are very, very important, even though they are very basic questions from SSC JEE and RRB JEE. So see, some questions are at some good level, so practice them. If you are getting the answers directly, that will be okay. If you are not getting the answers, so they are asking in different way, so try to think in that different way and try to get the answers, right? So this is the last one you have to do, right? And along with this, some textbooks are having questions at the end of the textbooks. So like J.B. Gupta, we are having some practice questions at the end. C.L. Vadhva is also having some practice questions at the end. Even though some of the questions are previous GATE questions and ESE questions, some questions are some different questions, we need to practice them also, right? So try to take all these questions, so maintain one practice set, so practice as many questions as possible, So if you are having any doubts, right, so you have to go for the reference notes. Actually, whenever you are listening the class, suppose if you are listening a class of 8 hours a day or 6 hours a day, for example. So after listening the class, you need to write the reference notes on the same day. So in 8 hours class or 6 hours class, you are going to complete a minimum of 50 to 70 pages, right? So in that, so you need to make at least 2 to 3 papers of reference. Every point is not important, right? So make all important points in one paper or separate notes. That is the reference. That is the separate reference notes we are having. So which means that we are going to prepare that one only. You are not going to revise the entire notes whatever you are having, right? So make the entire notes small, right? And prepare that one only. And go for more question practice. Right? And those students who are starting late, you have to prepare more number of hours. Every hour is important, right? I'm not saying you have to prepare this many hours and this many hours, right? So even though you are sitting calm and you are not learning anything for more number of hours, that is time waste. So I'm saying every hour is important. So reduce your sleeping times and make proper planning of the subjects. So which subjects you are having more confidence, so take those subjects and practice more in those subjects, right? And then go for the preparation, right? So practicing more number of questions will give you the success very easily, students, very easily, right? So these are the areas you have to concentrate in case of the power system protection. and these are the areas you have to concentrate on the transmission and distribution, and these are the areas you have to concentrate on power system analysis. Clear, right? So for completing power systems only, we need at least 150 hours. Whenever we are teaching, we need at least 150 hours minimum we are saying. Now, how many hours you need for preparation? So plan more number of hours. Why? Because the weightage of power system is very high. So we are getting, so at least minimum of 12 to 16 marks we are going to get, right? So it is going to decide your future, right? So concentrate more on the concepts, and whatever I have given star marking, so based on those concepts, so concentrate more on that concepts. Clear, everybody? Right, students?